Welcome back to Bible Quizzes. We got another 35 questions for you based on Jesus' parables. Let's get started. Question 1. In the parable of the sower, where did Jesus sit while all of the people stood on the shore? Sand, stone, or a boat? A boat. Matthew 13:2. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Question 2. Who went out to sow his seed, and while scattering the seed, some fell along the path? Farmer, carpenter, or baker? A farmer. Matthew 13:3-4. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path. Question 3. Who came and ate up all the seeds that fell on the path? Bird, dog, or sheep? Bird. Matthew 13:4. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Question 4. But when the blank came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Sun, rain, or storm? Sun. Matthew 13:6. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. 5. Where did the seed fall that produced a crop? 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown? Rocky soil, good soil, or muddy soil? Good soil. Matthew 13:8. Still other seed fell on good soil where it produced a crop 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. 6. Who comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart to those who hear the message about the kingdom and does not understand? Evil, bird, or God? Evil. Matthew 13:19. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their heart. This is the seed sown along the path. 7. Blank refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. Thorns, rocky ground, or good soil? Thorns. Matthew 13:22. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. 8. In the parable of a good Samaritan, who stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away leaving him half dead? The robber, the murderer, or the robber? The robber. Luke 10:30. In reply, Jesus said, A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. 9. In the parable of the lost son, who said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate? The younger son, the eldest son, or both of them? The younger son. Luke 15:12. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. So he divided his property between them. 10. Who set off for a distant country and squandered his wealth in wild living? Eldest son, younger son, or both of them? The younger son. Luke 15:13. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. 11. When found the lost coin, she calls her blank and neighbors together and says, Rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin. brother, friends, or sister? Friends, Luke 15:9. And when she finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin." 12. A man was not wearing blank when the king came in to see the guest: shoes, wedding clothes, or a coat. Wedding clothes, Matthew 22:11. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. 13. Who told the attendants this? Tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness. King, bride, or groom? The king, Matthew 22:13. Then the king told the attendants, "Tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." 14. In the parable of the 10 virgins, who came late that made them all drowsy and fell asleep? Bridegroom, priest, or 10 virgins? Bridegroom, Matthew 5:25. Settle matters quickly with your adversary. Matthew 5:25. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still together on the way, where your adversary may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. 15. The younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in blank living. Happy, wild, or boastful? Wild, Luke 15:13. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. 16. How many bags of gold did the man receive and went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more bags? 4, 5, or 6? 5. Matthew 25:16. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more bags. 17. In the parable of the tenants, who was killed and thrown out of the vineyard so that the inheritance would be transferred to them? The heir, tenant, or leaser? Heir. Mark 12:7-8. But the tenants said to one another, "This is the heir. Come, let's kill him, and the inheritance will be ours." So they took him and killed him, and threw him out of the vineyard. 18. Who is the king mentioned in the parable of the rich fool? Solomon, David, or Harold? Solomon, Luke 12:27. Consider how the wildflowers grow. They do not labor or spin, yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. 19. All these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me even a young blank so I could celebrate with my friends. Sheep, goat, or cow? Goat, Luke 15:29. But he answered his father, "Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends." 20. Who prepared a great banquet and invited many guests? Man, woman, or priest? Man, Luke 14:16. Jesus replied, "A certain man was preparing a great banquet and invited many guests." 21. Which among the following is a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? The one who had mercy on him, the one who only passed by, or the one who ignored him? one who had mercy on him. Luke 10:36 through 37. Which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus told him, go and do likewise. 22. When he finds the lost sheep, he joyfully puts it on his blank and goes home. Back, shoulder, or hands? Shoulder. Luke 15:5. And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders. 23. The phrase, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, can be found on what parable? Parable of the lost coin, the shrewd manager, or the sower? The parable of the shrewd manager. Luke 16:10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. 24. Luke 18:10. How many men went up to the temple and prayed? 2, 3, or 4? Two. Luke 18:10. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. 25. In a certain town there was a blank who neither feared God nor cared what people thought, judge, tax collector, or king. Judge. Luke 18:2. He said, in a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared what people thought. 26. There was a rich man whose blank was accused of wasting his possessions, manager, brother, or son. Manager. Luke 16:1. Jesus told his disciples, there was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. 27. Who came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away while everyone was sleeping? His friend, his enemy, or his mother? His enemy. Matthew 13:25. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. 28. What seed is the smallest, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree? Mustard seed, pichay seed, or manna seed? Mustard seed. Matthew 13:31 through 32. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches. 29. In the parable of the weeds are the people of the blank one. Evil, good, or chosen? Evil. Matthew 13:38. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. The weeds are the people of the evil one. 30. In the parable of the hidden treasure, what is like a treasure that is hidden in a field? Kingdom of heaven, church of the people, or treasure of the earth? Kingdom of heaven. Matthew 13:44. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. 31. Who came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Peter, Mark, or Luke? Peter. Matthew 18:21. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times? 32. About what time in the morning did Jesus go out and see others standing in the marketplace doing nothing? 8, 9, or 10? 9. Matthew 23. About 9 in the morning he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. 33. About blank in the afternoon, Jesus went out and found still others standing around. 4, 5, or 6? 5. Matthew 26. About 5 in the afternoon, he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing?" 34. Who planted a vineyard, put a wall around it, dig a winepress in it, and built a watchtower? Farmer, landowner, or land caretaker? Landowner. Matthew 21:33. Listen to another parable. There was a landowner who planted a vineyard. He put a wall around it, dug a winepress in it, and built a watchtower. Then he rented the vineyard to some farmers and moved to another place. 35. Who were sent by the landowner to the tenants to collect his fruits when harvest time had approached? His servants, his brother, or his caretaker? His servants. Matthew 21:34. When the harvest time approached, he sent his servants to the tenants to collect his fruit. And then that's all the questions we have for today. So remember, put your score in the comments below and share this with your friends and family to compare your scores against theirs. And we'll see you in the next one.